Don't let your old craft supplies collect dust. While cleaning my craft room, I rediscovered some forgotten favorites and knew they would pair perfectly with some brand new products. So today I am mixing old and new to create a fun card that proves you don't always need the latest supplies to make something beautiful. Hello, crafty friends. I'm Revati and welcome to my crafty space. Today, I'll be pairing the brand new Let's Eat Cake stencil and die set with an older favorite of mine and the absolutely gorgeous Bright Butterflies die set. Now, you've seen me use this Let's Eat Cake stencil in one of my previous videos. I'll leave a link to that video. But today, I'll be pairing these with this absolutely gorgeous, beautiful butterfly die sets. Now, both these products are designed by Catherine Pooler for Sizzix, and I thought it would complement each other beautifully. The cake design is such a fun celebratory feel, while these butterflies add that touch of elegance and movement. It's a great reminder that you don't always need to use products from the same release or even the same type of products. Sometimes mixing these supplies give you a completely fresh look while helping you get more out of everything that you have in your stash. Well, I'll be creating a birthday card, but I will not be using this particular die set to create that cake. Instead of using the cake dies, I'll be using just the two layering stencils to create those beautiful floral background, and then I'll pair that with the beautiful butterfly dies and a simple happy birthday sentiment strip. I really love how this combination lets the butterflies become the focal point of our card, while the stenciled background adds that beautiful fun festive touch to the background. I started by securing an A2 size panel onto the Sizzix Stampin' Stencil tool. Now, whenever I'm working with the Sizzix layering stencils, this is my go-to platform because these stencils fit perfectly into the built-in alignment notches. This means that I don't have to worry about shifting or lining up things by eye, and I get beautifully aligned image every single time, which makes the stenciling process so much more easier and more enjoyable. I started with my first stencil, which creates this beautiful floral background. For all of my ink blending today, I'm using the inks by Altenew. I wanted the overall design to have a soft, almost monochromatic feel, so I kept my color palette very limited. My goal was to create delicate shades of pinks with just a subtle hint of orange to add a little warmth and dimension without taking away from the soft look that I was going for. Stencil number two adds that little finishing details. We have the flower centers, a few leaves, and a couple of tiny hearts. For my flower centers, I reached for the darker shade from the same pink color family to add bit of a contrast and help those details stand out. I did use post-it notes just to cover my leaves. For the leaves, I started with the lightest green in my stash and then applied a soft touch of color. I even used the same green on the little hearts. Then I went back with the same pink that I used on my flowers and lightly blended them over the leaves as well. Layering the pink over the soft green created that beautiful warm peachy orange tone, and I absolutely love how it tied the whole color palette together. I absolutely love how this background turned out. It has such a soft and delicate look. If you wanted to add a little extra sparkle, you could definitely use some glitter paste or sparkle paste on the flower centers. But for today's card, I decided to keep the background nice and clean and let it shine just as is. Now let's move on to our butterflies. The Bright Butterfly set includes 5 beautiful butterfly designs, and each one comes with both the solid base layer and a detailed top layer that adds a lot of texture. The set also includes dies for the butterfly bodies along with tiny little hearts and other decorative accents. For today's card, I won't be using all 5 butterflies. Instead, I picked my favorite 3 to keep the design balanced. I cut out all the butterfly layers from white cardstock while the butterfly bodies were cut from black cardstock to create a little contrast and help them stand out against that really busy background that we just created. You could absolutely die cut these butterflies from colored cardstock if you already have a color scheme in mind. But I personally like starting with white cardstock because it gives me complete control over the final look. I can ink blend exactly the shades I want, adjust the intensity, and customize the colors to perfectly match the rest of my card. Now, since I was going for a soft monochromatic design, I kept the butterflies really simple. I placed the detailed etched butterfly layers onto my sticky mat to keep them from shifting while I ink blend. Then I used my very same inks from the floral background, concentrating the color in the center of each of those butterflies and gradually fading it out towards the tips of each of those wings. That soft gradient adds just the right amount of color while still letting all of those butterflies and beautiful etched details shine through. I kept the base layers of these butterflies plain white and adhered each of those ink blended layers right on top. Now, the simple contrast between the white base and that soft blended colors really help these butterflies and all that etched details to stand out. Now, to give the butterflies even more dimension, before sticking them down, I used a petal shaper and gently curved the wings of each of those butterflies. Adding these soft touches of shaping created a beautiful lift and movement, making the butterflies look almost as if they were ready to take flight. I absolutely love how this small step brought so much life to these die cuts. I'm using the Altenew Petal Shaper tool here. This is such a handy tool when working with die cuts, especially florals or delicate elements like these butterflies. The rounded tips allow you to gently shape and curve the cardstock without damaging it, giving your die cuts a more realistic and dimensional look. I placed each of those butterflies on the soft surface and gently used the petal shaper to add gentle pressure along the wings, creating a subtle curve. This small step made such a big difference. The butterflies instantly looked softer, more natural, and almost as if they were ready to take flight. I did the same exact thing for the shadow layers or the base layers as well. Once all of our butterflies were shaped, I went ahead and assembled each one by adding the little black body centers. I love how that small detail adds a beautiful contrast against the soft pastel wings and really helps define the shape of each of our butterflies. It also ties it nicely with the other elements of the card and gives these delicate butterflies a more finished look. I have to say, I was a little unsure whether these butterflies would stand out against such a detailed background. But as soon as I placed them over the panel, I was so happy with how beautifully they worked together. These soft colors on the butterflies blended seamlessly with the flowers and all that beautiful floral arrangement in the background, while still adding that lovely focal point and dimension. Before adhering the butterflies in place, I trimmed my panel down to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, which is slightly smaller than your standard A2 size card base. This creates a beautiful, even border around the edges when the panel is mounted on a card base and helps frame the entire design. Now we can start assembling everything together. I began by arranging my butterflies on the panel and playing around with the placement until I was happy with the overall composition. Before adhering the butterflies in place, I decided to add a little butterfly trails that I die cut from black cardstock. I tucked them right underneath two of the butterflies and secured them with a little bit of liquid glue. These tiny details add such a fun sense of movement and make it look like the butterflies are fluttering across the beautiful floral background. And before permanently adhering the butterflies down, I made sure to leave enough space for my sentiment. I always like to do a final check before the placement and committing everything with glue, especially when you're working with multiple elements like this on the card. For my sentiment, I decided to reach for another older favorite from the stash, and this is the Up and Away stamp set. It includes some really fun designs, like we have these hot air balloons, little hearts, floral details, making it perfect for these celebratory cards. We have sentiments like congratulations, thinking of you, and happy birthday. Now, this set also comes with coordinating dies, which made it easy for me to die cut that sentiment into that beautiful little banner shape. I love how bringing in an older set like this ties back to the whole idea of today's card, mixing new supplies with forgotten favorites and giving them a fresh new life. Now that I have my sentiment in place, I can go ahead and adhere all the butterflies in place. Now, even though I already added that beautiful dimension to the wings using the petal shaper, I wanted to take that dimension a step further by adding small pieces of foam tape behind each of my butterfly. A little extra lift helps the butterfly stand away from the busy background and creates more depth and movement to the card. And finally, we had to add some little bling and sparkle to this project. For this, I reached out for the beautiful sparkling clear hexagon confetti mix from Cat Scrappiness. Now, usually I would keep my embellishments more concentrated around the focal point or the sentiment, but for today's card, I felt like this clean and simple monochromatic design could use a little extra shine. So I scattered a generous amount of these sparkling hexagons throughout the entire panel and secured each one of them with a little bit of liquid glue. And with that, our card panel was complete. The final step was to add some foam tape to the back and mount this panel onto a top folding A2 size card base. I love how all the little details from the soft stenciled background to the dimensional butterflies and the added sparkle came together to create this fun and elegant birthday card. Just as I thought that I was done, I felt like a little more sparkle would do no harm. So I bought in my glitter brush pen and added a hint of sparkle to all of my butterflies. And with that, our card is complete. I love how combining new supplies with older favorites created a fresh and unique design. The soft monochromatic background, dimensional butterflies, and little touches of sparkle came together beautifully. I hope this inspires you to look through your own stash and give some of those older supplies a chance to shine again. Well, I will be sure to link all the supplies that I used in today's card in the description box below. Please note that all of those links will be affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I'll get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe.